All right, y'all. We're here at Mary's, and we've been making some pretty good progress on the project here in the back of our property, a little wilderness area. We had, I put the little card up there so you can see the before when it was all jungly in here, and it was just a trail to the avocado tree. But anyways, let's see. So this back area, we had originally just sort of wanted to not focus too much energy on, maybe just plant this exposed sun area, but Mary and I sort of agreed that this area is actually really awesome and we should spend as much time as we can in the winter, spring, while the weather's cool and the bananas are ripening in the main food forest, which is over there. And as soon as the bananas start ripening, there's going to be tons of managing that has to be done. So we decided to go full blast on this project over here. And yeah, it's been coming along nicely. And I wanted to show a little update. We've been having some really nice moisture this winter. This has been awesome compared to the dry summer that we had. So yeah, a lot of things have just been coming back up since the skid steer came by. But kind of just want to touch on a couple of things. Mainly, number one thing is kind of like passive versus active work and how I sort of juggle that in a day's work. So, for example, it could be like active passive or like long-term short-term kind of thing. So this is kind of like active short-term. This is the area that we really wanted to focus on because this is the area that is most exposed to the sun and that will have all the noxious pioneer species like Caesar weed and all that stuff coming up. So if you remember, I had just put a bunch of little mulch piles from the mulch that was left over from the bobcat from the skid steer. But since then, we've brought in our own mulch since we agreed. There's some mulch piles over there. Since we agreed that we're going to go full blast back here for a bit. So I'm putting we're active management is sort of like I'm imposing my will, so to speak, on this land and making these beds so that I can actively plant stuff in there that I want. Whereas passive work is sort of just letting Mother Nature come with what she has in the seed bank. So you'll see tons and tons of plants like the American beautyberry that I just showed and whatever this is. Let's see back here. Here's some more beautyberry. And with these with this rains that we've been having, a lot of this stuff is coming back up super nicely. There is even this native laurel. I'm assuming it's a laurel. I don't know exactly what it is. I need to get better at my native plant IDs. It's starting to flower too. So it's a combination of taking care of what's already here, as well as putting things that we want, and helping stifle some of the noxious weeds. But anyways, just want to show what we've been doing. So we've been kind of like, and here's a good example of kind of combining the both. So kind of combining passive and active work. Like this pine and this longan and this pine were already here. They were covered up with muscadines and smilax and all that. So I did the passive work of just clearing all it's still active, it's still work, but it's not like actively trying to put mulch down or whatever. But so I cleared the trees, and I could have just left it as that, just like, hey, these are elements that we just want to take care of. But what I did was just sort of incorporate the elements that were already there and mulch all around it, so it became part of the bed structure, if you can see. I'm gonna go ahead and what we're doing now is in these mulch rows, we're putting in to try to get a head start on the season. We can put in very, very, very rustic, very resilient plants that don't require immediate watering. So So here's the Corymbia torrellianas, which they're super rustic. I mean, super strong, and they were looking a little rough coming out of the nursery. So what I've been doing is kind of just decapitating them, honestly, and having them have their roots only so that they can ride out the rest of this winter, spring, so that in summertime they can just explode with growth. So other plants like this isote, we call it in Spanish in Honduras, or huizote, I think, in Mexico too. This is a yucca, some yucca gigantea, I think. Super resilient plant. This thing could, you can plant this any time of the year and it'll take. Sansevieria, another one. You can plant this any time of the year it'll take. It doesn't need any love or anything. Let's see. Of course, here's some prickly pear, spiny prickly pear, cacti, succulents, things of that nature we are able to get away with. Here's some spineless prickly pear right here. I think here's a Peruvian apple cactus. I don't know if it's Peruvian apple cactus. It looks like it might actually have a little bit of cold damage. It's been pretty cold past couple mornings. Late February, so we're still getting some cold. It's one of the columnar cactuses that produces the edible fruit. Not sure if it is Peruvian apple cactus or not. More Sansevieria. So the idea back here is to sort of have like almost like a little wildlife preserve kind of thing. And Miri is all about it, as am I. She already has like little bird feeders set up and water. So obviously we see tons of birds. We've seen foxes back here. There's tons of deer back here all the time, possums and raccoons. So it's pretty much a haven for the wild animals out here. And what we've been doing is just, like I said, establishing this area so that less noxious weeds come back up, and also giving us opportunity to plant resilient things like cacti, succulents, and we can, depending on how the first year goes, we can put in maybe more sensitive things like bananas or other types of trees in here that require a little bit more water. There is an old banana there, so maybe we'll go ahead and experiment with a few. But yeah, pretty much just same old, really thick biomass rows, and taking care of all the native plants that are coming up. So another thing that we're doing is really focusing on the health of the longans. So like I said in the past videos, this property used to be owned by some guy who planted tons of longan trees and has since relocated, moved away and sold the property to Miri. And now there was just like this abandoned longan grove back here. So we're revitalizing it. Oh, another thing I want to mention is a good way to structure a day of work is to focus in the morning when it's nice and cool, focus on the areas where, very open areas like this where it's super sunny. And by the time the sun gets higher in the sky and it starts getting hot, you can transition to other types of work in the shade. And you'll be able to work longer in the day, which is really nice. So what we've been doing here is cleaning up all the longans. There were tons of nasty vines crawling up everything. So we've been clearing them up, bringing down organic matter to the ground. Here's the mulch piles. We're gonna mulch a lot of these trees too. So we created access through the longan grove. Airflow, everything that longan needs to thrive, because they have produced in the past before. She said they used, before the 2 back-to-back frosts that we got, she said that they produced copious amounts of longans. And I'm going to show some really good signs here. I'm not super familiar with longan trees too much, but this sure seems like flowers right here. So that's a good sign. We weren't sure at the beginning if it was worth trying to put energy and time and effort into saving these longans or like taking care of them, just because we got our hands full with the project over there. But like I said, the more we kind of came back here, the more we just, I don't know, I guess we both started falling in love with this area back here. But yeah, this has been part of the process as well, clearing up the Longan orchard, Longan Grove, so that we have access and so that we give the Longans more of a chance to fruit. Here's an oak, beautiful oak that I cleaned up as well. Really nice, amazing oak. I'm not sure. Some of these oaks look like maybe the guy planted them. I don't know if he'd planted this one, but there's a couple oaks over there that looks like they were planted in a line. And with that being said, there's tons of little oak seedlings coming up everywhere. And that's also part of the plan, is to just maybe mark off and demarcate, put some mulch rings around some of the cool oak trees and other native plants that are coming up that take a while, that grow slow. But yeah, that's about it. That's a quick little update on here, and I really like this project a lot, and I'm super excited to keep going forward with it. Here's the big avocado. It's flowering, and see over here some more of these longans. These longans were just getting choked out hardcore. You can see how much I've been doing some corrective pruning on them. You know, they died back in the frost and just a lot of dead wood. You see that piece of dead wood coming up, all that biomass. Oh yeah, this is another important aspect of when you're managing sort of semi-wild areas like this. It's really important to not just throw everything on the ground and have a mess. You really want to dedicate a space for your biomass. Not only does it make access a lot easier, but it also this will decompose a lot faster, and within a year or so, like under there will be some nice rich soil that you can use accordingly. And also the birds really love that. It doesn't take long for the birds to utilize biomass like that. They love just going in there and hanging out and doing bird things in there. So yeah, it's super, super cool. This used to be a thick jungle. You could hardly get back here. And now we're slowly but surely turning it into a productive space, which is really nice. Let's see. Wanted to see if there's anything else that was of interest to me to show. I don't really think so. Oh yeah, just cleaning up of the Brazilian pepper as well is part of the deal. So, you know, we're not destroying the Brazilian pepper, but we're just taming it a bit. You know, this is all going to grow back again and produce amazing amount of biomass to use on whatever we need to use it on. There's still some up there, and the birds absolutely love the Brazilian pepper, so I've been cleaning this one up too. Probably do more of this today once the sun starts getting too hot. It's been crazy. Like I could just sit back here and stay still and not make any noise, and the amount of birds that go to town on this Brazilian pepper is astounding. It's really cool to see. It's just a whole bunch of them just gorging themselves on Brazilian pepper. So yeah, they're just, you know, I know they're really horrible plants, and it's probably not a good thing for the big scope of the environment, you know, that these birds are spreading these seeds, but they got to eat too. And for now, this Brazilian pepper is kind of holding it down until we plant other things here, and then this Brazilian pepper will slowly fade out. But yeah. Oh, another thing I wanted to mention real quick was that one of the issues that I've been facing here is that there's so much muscadine grape everywhere that it's hard to get into, like hard to dig through and like make a little seed bed or like just work with this soil, because it's so clogged up by all these muscadine grapevines. And one thing that I've been doing that I've found really effective is my little hand scythe here. I've dedicated this as a digging hand scythe. This is the Shady Lady wood handle that I made for it, and it's really nice to be able to grip it with like 2 hands. And you can come here, see if I can do this with 1 hand, and it really slices through. It really slices through the muscadine grape. You know, if you try a shovel or a pickaxe or something, like a lot of that stuff just gets jammed up in the muscadine grape vines. And then after a little bit of that, it just becomes super tilthy, super nice to work with, very easy. The blade just cuts right through that stuff. So that's what I've been doing to plant the stuff in between the mulch rows here. Just been coming through and slicing things up and then planting, whether it be the prickly pears or the Corymbia Torrellianos. But anyways, that's about it. I just wanted to give an update because things are looking pretty cool back here, and yeah, I'm excited. That's all I can say. So that's all. Till next time. Peace.